because what's up, America? It's the Arica and Robin show. No Rodney. I don't know what the fuck he's doing on vacation, maybe. Who gives a shit? But we have our biggest date. No, let me try that again. But we have our biggest guest to date. I don't know if you know about Arica Angelo here, but she has millions and millions and millions of views on YouTube. Millions. She's the host of Bravo's Love Without Borders. She is a relationship expert, and she's the founder and CEO of the Arica Angelo Intimacy Experience. Welcome to the show, Arica. Holy shit, what are you doing here?
Welcome to the show.
I don't know, but I'm about to figure it out as we go.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But you're in France where everything's nice. Except for the food. We were just discussing how French food has no heat. Do they sell hot sauce over there in any store? Is there a hot sauce section?
Do you know that I have purchased Cholula and Tabasco sauce out here? That is my hot sauce. Yeah.
I think it would be great. I think fusion food, if you did a little like a bechamel, a little spicy bechamel would be nice, but it's never been on a menu at any point, I don't think.
No.
Interesting.
Korean taco trucks blew up in LA. I think maybe a French taco would be nice. A little heat on that. I don't know what you would put. French fries?
Snails and hot sauce.
There you go. Now we're talking snails and hot sauce. Oh my God. Yesterday on the show, we came up with so many brilliant ideas. We're 20 seconds in. Snails, hot sauce, tacos. Okay. I have many, many questions for you because you're a relationship expert.
Okay.
And I am also a relationship expert. Not formally trained, but I've been married for 23 years. So that's a doctorate. That's whatever is above that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we're gonna compare notes, I think. But I know you watched one episode, so maybe you have an idea about how we do things. But the first half hour, we cover the news because America demands our opinions on such things.
They do.
Yes.
Then we talk about you. But before we get to all of that, every day in this country is some national day, some reason to celebrate. And today I didn't go too deep because it happens to be Halloween. So I don't know if you guys celebrate Halloween over there in France, but Halloween is my very favorite holiday. You know why? Because it started here, right? This looks, maybe they were having a good time, but you know where it ended up? Here. It's evolved in a very positive direction. Don't you think that Halloween has trended in a beautiful... Christmas hasn't gone this way. Easter hasn't gone this way. Yom Kippur, I assume. No, but look at this. Look what happened. This is evolution at its very finest. Slutty Christmas.
I think Halloween by far is that one vacation that's the easiest to get laid on. Like by far. Oh my God, Robin, simpatico. You know why? Because during Halloween, even the cheeseburgers are slutty. And you're like, how is that possible? Not only that, but even the tater tots are slutty. It's just, they've slutted everything up. What a time to be alive. Eric Cartman can be slutted up.
Oh my gosh.
Mario.
I've never gotten laid on Halloween. What am I doing wrong?
Well, listen, I'm a relationship expert, so I'm going to let you know. I'm going to steer you down the path. But isn't this remarkable that they took Mario and made it slutty? But not to be outdone, Sega also got in it. This is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic? Dear God, poor thing.
Yeah, but why wait until you're old enough to play video games? Because you could be a slutty Bert and Ernie, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
I know,
incredible.
I can't really tell if it ruins it for me or just makes it better.
I got to tell you, it makes me feel very strange. I've never wanted to bang Ernie until right now, but now I'm very, very into it. Here's what they couldn't do, though. Like the magicians behind slutting up Sonic the Hedgehog and tater tots and cheeseburgers couldn't make this attractive. This is a slutty Donald Trump. Somehow even it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. But you know
why? Because they didn't spray tan her orange.
That could have been, She's a little too pale.
She's too pale. That would have been the game changer.
Judging by this picture, I'd say her ass is a normal size too, which is not the case with our former president.
No, he's got junk in the trunk.
He does.
Missed opportunity.
He's very dumpy, but man, look at this. This is a holiday. This is socially acceptable one time a year. My God, what a time to be alive. Isn't it exciting?
I'm going to let you boys take the lead on that.
Trust me, I'm going to tell you.
I don't.
Yes.
Well, here's the one thing I'll say about this. I don't think as guys we ask the girls to dress up this way. They kind of do that on their own.
We did not lead this charge. That's a good point. Right. I think it just happened organically. I think it started here, and then one of their skirts got ripped, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's hot." And then the next year, she ripped to the other side, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, what happened? It's amazing.
The thirst trap.
Thirst trap. And I'm very thirsty right now.
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I have a lot of questions for you, so we have to blast through this news. But Robin, what do we have? What's happening in the United States of America today?
The first story actually is a national outrage in America. So I think we've seen quite a few people absolutely butcher the national anthem.
Yes.
And I think this one by far trumps all of them. So Flavor Flav, is that how you say his name?
Flavor Flav. Yep.
He was invited to sing the national anthem, and by God, it was just fucking terrible. So fans aren't really sure if they're trolling, sober, or if he's just thinking that he sounds good. It's awful.
I will say, as an artist, much like Flavor Flav, sometimes you have to take risks, and the man took a risk. I listened to it. He tried. He's not a singer. He's a hype man, and I think Flavor Flav has given a lot. And I don't want to discredit this man and his work. I don't know if you remember this, but Arica, you hosted a dating show. Flavor Flav hosted a dating show. Did you ever see this shit?
I never saw it, but I actually saw him at a pool party when I first moved to LA.
At a pool party?
Yes, at the Roosevelt Hotel. They did these infamous Saturday, Sunday pool parties, and he was there, and everyone was like, there's Flavor Flav. And I was like, oh.
I gotta tell you,
I've lived.
He had a moment. Like, he was huge. There was a 2 or 3, because not only was there Flavor of Love, but there was Flavor of Love 2. There was Flavor of Love 3. They had 2 of the contestants got spinoffs, and we even got Bret Michaels got his own show, Rock of Love. Have you ever seen Rock of Love with Bret Michaels from Poison?
No.
These were great shows. Robin, you've never seen Flavor of Love? You don't even know who Flavor Flav is, do you?
I don't.
No.
So, but then again, like, there's so many talented artists that have like a great natural singing voice. Whoever booked this, why would they go with Flavor Flav? Why don't they just book someone else?
I'll tell you why, because it's a spectacle, and it gets people talking. It's clickbait. And here's the thing the national anthem, we have to stop being so fucking precious about this song. First of all, everybody pretends it's the song of the troops. It's not. It's the song for every American, right? Everyone's like, oh, I fucking insult the army, the police. No, it's all of our song, and objectively, it's a shitty song. I think the national anthem should be DMX's Rough Riders anthem. I think that would make people a lot happier. Dude, it's like people kneel during the national anthem and they lose their mind. It's a song about the Revolutionary War. None of you motherfuckers fought there. And stop pretending like you're patriots. No one's a patriot. Do a test. Go to the average American. Go, do you like paying taxes? They're going to go, fuck no. Go, did you serve in the military? Less than 1% serve. Chances are they're going to say no. Then you're going to go, okay, can I sign your child up for the draft? They're going to go, no. So where is your patriotism? You hate paying taxes. You didn't serve, and you don't want your kids to serve. So stop pretending like you're upset when somebody butchers the national anthem. Who gives a shit? Anyway, Arica, what do you got on that?
Well, I do have to say, I was living in Bali, Indonesia for over 5 years, and 4th of July, I went out there on the balcony of my villa and just belted out that song for all of Canggu, Bali, Indonesia to hear. It still brings me a sense of pride.
You know why that makes sense, though? You're somewhere else. Only in the United States and Canada do we sing national anthems before sporting events. They don't have anything to do with each other. The rest of the world looks at it and goes, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you singing this? Why aren't you singing Happy Birthday? It has nothing to do with the occasion. If you're somewhere else, I totally get the appeal.
You know what the anthem should be is We Are the Champions. I feel like if that was the anthem, we would all go batshit crazy.
I think it makes a lot more sense because we're back-to-back World War champions, right? I mean, we're probably going to win this third one. We've done a lot of shit. I agree with you. Get more xenophobic. Like, the national anthem? Nobody even understands the words. Who gives a shit? Twilight Last Gleaming? What does that mean? We are the champions. That makes a lot more sense. Robin, can you sing a little of the Filipino national anthem for us? I don't think anyone's heard it.
See, I'm not that much of a patriot at all. I don't even know the words.
I bet you can sing. I know.
Yeah, I know. I'm more American than Filipino.
Could it be because you guys aren't lunatics that sing it before everything? I think that's
well, I mean, do you guys sing the national anthem in the movie cinema before the movie plays? Because in the Philippines, we kind of that's a thing in the Philippines, though.
That's an interesting thing. So I was raised, my father's in the military, so I'm an army brat. If you go to the movie theater on base, they play the national anthem before every movie.
Wow.
I didn't know that was a thing that other people did. Very interesting, Robin. You learn things on the Arica and Rodney show with Robin.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, the French, are they all do you know the French national anthem?
No.
It's because they don't play it, right? They're reasonable
We
people.
don't fucking like anything. We don't fucking like you Americans. It is all terrible. Fuck off. I think
That's very good. They like cigarettes though, don't they?
Yeah, and then they smoke at the end, and at the end, yeah. You have
Stereotypes are always true. Everyone's like Pepe Le Pew over there, right? Remember him? I was trying to have sex with everything.
Yes, the BO and the trying to have sex, and if only he had a cigarette, then yes, that would be French men.
And everyone's related to a mime in some way. Are there a lot of mimes around? Is it just
none? Oh,
you've never seen a mime?
No.
TVs and movie and cartoons have lied to me.
Yes.
Is there nothing?
One last thing I'll say about this is I think the most patriotic Americans are always abroad. I think that's the point you also kind of brought up. Yeah.
That's where you feel most American, where you're not. That's why it's conceptually bizarre that a whole bunch of Americans get together and sing about America. Like, it makes sense if you're somewhere else, but together, the skunk rapist. What? I have an idea for a cartoon character for kids. Oh, I'd love to hear it. It's a skunk who rapes. Oh, imagine how hilarious that's going to be.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, the olden days were crazy. Okay, what else is in the news? Oh, my hair is here for some reason.
So the next story is a classic example of why we are doomed when the iPad kids grow up and become the next generation of leaders. So it's starting to happen now, and there's this Gen Z girl who made a post on TikTok about how the 9-to-5 thing just doesn't work for her. It's too unforgiving. She has no time to do anything but eat, sleep, and shower.
This chick went on TikTok, bitched about the 9-to-5. She says something about how she wakes up at 6, doesn't get home until 6:15 at night, doesn't have time for love or working out or friends. And I would argue that she's right. And I don't think it's just me. I think she's objectively right, because I pulled up the countries with the best work-life balance. You'll notice it's Netherlands, Italy, Denmark, Spain, France, Lithuania, Norway, Belgium, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, and Russia. Russia. Now, where's the United States? Oh, that's weird. They're not on here. But you know what? I found another chart. Countries with the worst work-life balance. And look what we got. Colombia, Mexico, Turkey, South Korea, Japan, blah, 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 blah. The United States.
Wow.
So here's, okay. I think she's right. It says in this
article. Are we really that free?
It says in this article, though, that if it was the 1800s, you would be expected to work 70 hours a week. Okay. Then I'm telling you, the first person to go, why don't we work 40? Some 50 and 60-year-olds were like, what are you, a pussy? You're a pansy. You don't like working. You don't like capitalism. But now we love the 40-hour week. We shouldn't, but we do. We have Stockholm syndrome. Like we probably shouldn't be working this much. We work 5 days to get 2 off. So we have 2 weeks of vacation a year. That's kind of shitty. Like it's a construct. It's a human bound construct. None of this has to be the way it is. No, I know that. None of these people agree with us. And there's some reasonable countries on here.
You have to see, there's this couple and she's American and he's Italian, and he does a whole spoof on Americans. He's like, oh, I just love my money. And he wakes up with his money in his
I've seen
bed.
That. Yeah. It's fantastic. Yes. And it's so true. And here's the thing. We know, this is what blows my mind about the global economy. We know other countries do certain things better. We know that the Japanese, for example, have a better education system. We know that the Scandinavians have a better education system. We don't adopt any of that. We just think ours is objectively better when it's not. Like, these people are happier than us. We have the internet. We can ask a guy in the Netherlands, you happier? What's life like? And they go, oh shit, we should do that. But we don't. Like, everyone's railing against the 3-day weekend. Why? Why do we have Stockholm syndrome? It only benefits us if we get have a better life. I don't know why we've fallen in love with capitalism to the point of absurdity.
Well, it's interesting because so many people who are moving abroad are all doing these videos. They're like, this was my life in America. And now that I moved, like there are a couple women who've moved to Germany. Now that I moved to Germany, this is what my life is now. And I'm off my antidepressants. I'm off my anxiety medication, and I get time with my children. And I have to say, like, I think the old notion was that these countries, you know, like if you take Italy or France or Spain, they go, oh, but they're not producing as much. I would venture to say that Germany is still up there in terms of production and what they give back to the world.
Yeah. Like I said, my parents, my father was in the military, so they were stationed in Germany. I can tell you, Germany's doing just fine. The highways are gorgeous. They're well lit. The houses are beautiful. Everyone's attractive. No one's out in sweatpants. Like, it's a beautiful, industrious country, and they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
And speaking of Germany, I watched this documentary called Walmart, The High Price of Low Cost. If you work at Walmart as an American, well, one, they want to keep you under 40 hours so they don't have to provide things like healthcare and days off. But if you work in Germany, at a Walmart in Germany, you get something like 40 weeks of vacation. You get the average amount of vacation. So Walmart knows that they can do just fine giving you a livable wage and more days off. But in the United States, since we all have fucking Stockholm syndrome, we go, yeah, we'll work for minimum wage and no days off. That seems perfectly fine. Right. It's just, we're a dumb people. You said it in the green room, but Americans are fundamentally stupid. But why we have fallen in love with our captors to our own peril is beyond me.
Well, I think that most of us are ingrained in America that we have something to prove. Mm-hmm. And so with that, it's like, I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outperform you. I'm going to out. And then we're just killing ourselves to the bone.
Yeah. And we worship the dollar. Like, the dollar is the greatest thing in the world. We're always shocked when rich people do shitty things because we're like, they're rich. Aren't they perfect? And that's never the case. Her thing too is like, it's like having surgery without anesthesia. Plenty of people did. Once anesthesia came out, what did the people that had to go? Oh, you can't do that. I had my spleen out and I didn't take shit. Like, her point is, with AI, we're all going to lose our jobs eventually, right? So capitalism, as we know, it's going to go away. It's going to, like, it's going to be a diagnostic tool. It's going to be able to, we've sequenced the human genome. We have AI that's going to be able to read it and tell you exactly what you need. What's a doctor going to do? Right? Everyone thinks it's going to be right. It's starting with writers, so it's going to fuck us, but it's going to go across the board. We're going to have to rethink capitalism. And this chick thought about it first. Look at her crying.
Who would have thought? I'm actually quite surprised your stance on this, Eric. I thought you were going to go like completely the other way with like, oh, this girl just needs to grow up.
Well, I don't want to be one of these guys, I'm 42 now, that just hates the fucking generation previous to us, because I swear to God, I mean, I wasn't there, but when people were working 70 hours a week and somebody said we should probably work 50, there were a lot of people that lost their minds. They're like, how dare you? I worked 70 hours a week for 40 years and I'll be goddamn if my kids, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. We should evolve. We should get better. We have the technology. We were born into Eden. Like, I'm an atheist, but listen, everything we need is on this earth. We fucked it up. We should just be hanging out in hammocks and eating soft cheeses. Shouldn't we? We're on this rock once. Why am I working 8 hours a day? It seems crazy to me.
I constantly ask myself, like, when I'm making decisions, if I were to die tomorrow, would this make sense? Would this make my life happier, or would it take away? And that always is a really good barometer to say, is this worth doing? And most of the time I'm going to choose what brings me a more fulfilling life.
You would think so, right? And I think AI is always going to prescribe mushrooms. Caesar loves mushrooms. You should just know that. Big mushroom guy. I think mushrooms will solve a lot of problems. But I guess the point is too, like, we're working ourselves to death. You are a relationship expert. I would venture to say it's more common that someone who is ultra rich but has a very shitty love and home life is sadder than the average middle-class person that has a couple of kids and a wife and they all get along. Would you say that's true?
I would, because the priority is different though. If you're, not to say every person, but most wealthy people, it's like, it's always to drive to accumulate more. You know, I need another vacation, and you lose sight of what you actually already have. Whereas when you don't have as much, you're like, shit, if I'm going to be happy, I can't obviously keep up with the Jones. So I better look at what's in my own yard and see, like, see just how green my grass really is.
Yeah. There's, have you heard about the suicide paradox?
No.
I'll tell you. The suicide paradox is this idea that once a country reaches a certain socioeconomic level in the positive direction, suicides skyrocket. And I think this bears out if you look at suicide rates, I believe for the ultra rich are higher than people that the poor. And the theory goes that the Netherlands, for example, the happiest countries have the highest suicide rate. And they say the reason that is if you live in a country where everyone's happy, just like if you've reached a certain socioeconomic point, then if you're sad, you internalize it as your problem. So it's your fault that you're sad, your fault that you're underachieving, and you internalize that and you can't deal with it. Whereas if you live in a trailer park, for example, and everyone's poor, then you're just one of a crowd. So that has to say something about the way we think. And the drive for money doesn't actually make us happier. It's community and family. I mean, that's it. I don't want to think that because I love money, but it seems to bear out with statistics.
Right. I mean, I think we are always trying to create this like polarity. And the reality is you do need both. You need money and you need your family. If you want to enjoy quality time exploring the world, guess what? Someone's got to pay for that plane flight. Like I think it takes both. I think we're always like trying to either or. It's fucking both. You can have both and you need both.
Unfortunately, the truth is always balance, but balance isn't sexy. So we like the extremes, you know?
Yeah,
we do, but we all have to remember, despite what we get pushed with, we all have a conscious choice to make of, will you be that person that says, fuck all of you guys, I'm going to have both. I'm going to have money and I'm really going to enjoy my family. You know, you don't have to buy into those extremes. That is your choice to participate. You don't have, just because everyone's screaming the house is on fire doesn't mean you have to run in.
I know, but it's so hard because you have to go against the grain with society. Like, I think her point is, you know, if she's leaving the house at 6 and getting home at 6, imagine if she had children. She doesn't. She's young, but I have kids. By the time I see my kids, like it's almost time to put them to bed. By the time I'm finished working, cooking dinner, we eat, clean up. Here we have maybe an hour before we have to bathe them and put them to bed. I would venture to say, I'm no kid scientist, but I would venture to say that's not enough time with your children. And I think that's probably what most Americans have with their kids. And that's shitty. Add on top of that, the nights we do soccer, we don't even have that hour together. So that can't be good. Right.
I've always wondered why Americans, I've noticed this, you know, like I come from a family with like, they're religious and everyone goes to church every Sunday. And then like Americans, like you guys put, I mean, I'm American still, but like,
and now you're in France, you say you guys, real nice.
You guys over there. But it's like, oh, our kids are in soccer. I'm like, why do you all fucking need to do this shit? Like, why do you have to go to church every Sunday? Why do your kids have to play soccer? Like, why don't you guys create a family league amongst your community and have a soccer team so that you and your community are spending time together? I'm like, why? Or like people, I have family members, they're like, oh, we're exhausted. You know, we have church. So don't go to church every Sunday. Go once a month and actually spend that Sunday with your family, because Saturdays you have to do practical stuff like clean your house and do the yard. Okay, so why not? I think we don't stop and like think of our own madness. We're ingrained in this wheel like, well, I have to do this, but you don't. And so I don't understand. Like if you want more time with your kids, then pull them out of fucking soccer practice. Be like, we're in our neighborhood, we're creating a soccer league, and every week we're going to compete at someone else's house, and bam, you have time with your family and you're getting to know your community more.
Yeah. You know what? So Caesar, I said, I told Caesar once I wanted fuck you money. He was like, no, I think you want love you money. And I thought that was dumb until right now. Now it makes sense with this soccer thing. But it's true too. So about the soccer thing, everyone has warned me. They go, oh my God, it gets so much worse. You're going to have travel teams. It's going to be $800 for every season or more, $2,000. And then you're going to have to drive 3 hours. And my point has always been your point, which is, you know, you don't have to do this, right? Like your kid's not going to play professional soccer. Even if he does, they don't make much money. Like it doesn't make any intrinsic sense. You can choose to opt out. It will not change how your kid turns out, probably. So why do we all do it? We've bought into mass madness and we never stop.
And every time I go home to America, I sit back and watch. I'm like, you guys all know this is like chaos of your own making. Making
it really is.
This chaos, and there's no one to blame but you. It's a society. No. You chose to run into the burning house. It's your choice. Yeah. Change the game. You know, it's like like my family who needs to go to church every Sunday. I'm like, then invite your neighbors over and make some food and open a bottle of wine and talk about Jesus. But like, you don't have to go to this church where you have to get dressed up. It's like all these things that we add to our schedule in the States that just make us crazy. And it's just, it's nonsense.
That we don't like and don't benefit us, but we do it for why? I don't know. Societal pressure.
It's just a feeling of guilt, maybe.
I think it is a feeling of guilt. I think no one wants to have their kid be the kid that's not on the travel soccer team.
Yeah.
And why? Because I'm sure that kid is thrilled that he's not on the travel soccer team. But us as parents, no one's want, oh, you know, the Ryans, they can't afford it. And you're like, fuck you. Yes, I can. I'm going to torture my child for your benefit, dick. The other, I don't know. We could talk about this forever. But the thing too is like, I think she said it. She said it was Sisyphusian. No, Sisyphus, the guy that pushes the boulder up the. So he was cursed by the god Sisyphus to push a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down and continue to do this for eternity. That's kind of what we do, because we're not. Most Americans never break. I know that there's no caste system, but there is a caste system. It's very difficult to get from middle class to upper middle class to rich. It's a Sisyphusian a journey that we're on. We push the rock, it falls back down. We wake up on Tuesday, push the rock, it falls back down. Wake up on Wednesday, push the rock back down. Nothing ever changes. So, but we know this. To our point, there is the caveat that we do live in a capitalist society. We need a house, we need a car, we need education, we need food. So I don't. It's a big problem. Can only be solved through dating and love. Luckily, we have a relationship expert on. All right, let's do one more story before we start asking how we all get happier.
Right. Okay. So yesterday we covered Matthew Perry's death, and we poked a few jokes at it. It was all in good fun. Also, we tried to celebrate him a little bit, which I think you're supposed to do instead of mourning all the time. It's nicer to celebrate someone's death, to celebrate someone's life as opposed to mourning about their death. Sorry, that came out very wrong.
Halloween, Robin. That got morbid really quick.
Too soon. Okay, so there was this one comedian. His name was Kevin Brennan. So he took it to Twitter and he posted, Matthew Perry drowned in a hot tub. Ha 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 ha.
But that's not okay. Yeah, I don't know if you have more on this, but it's not even a good joke. Like I think, okay, celebrity deaths, I know people get worked up by them. I don't necessarily, I didn't like Friends, whatever. But like this, a comedian, this isn't a joke. This is just being a dick.
Yeah.
And then he followed up with, so we got heat from it. He goes, I didn't mock it. I just thought it was funny. I do love when junkies die. Like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I know. That's just, but it's not funny, right? Like listen, I don't think comedy should have any boundaries, but this is just objectively not a funny joke. So I wanted to run my jokes past you that I said. So okay. I had the Halloween party the night that he died. And when we woke up hungover the next day, I said, guys, someone forgot to take Chandler out of the hot tub. I thought, okay, it's not SNL worthy, but I think it was all right. On this show yesterday, I said 1 down, 5 to go, because I don't like Friends. And then one of you, I forget if it was Robin or the guest, said too soon. But then I go, yeah, the body's still warm because he's in a hot tub. I think that's funnier than this.
The hot tub one was probably the best one. I think someone's just angry. He's
angry.
He's just an angry guy.
But he's a comedian. That's terrible. So I did read the article, and I just wanted to say one more thing about this. So Chandler, Matthew Perry, this is a nice thought, but I just want to expound on this. He said, the best thing about me, bar none, is if somebody comes up to me and says, I can't stop drinking, can you help me? I can say yes, blah, blah, blah. When I die, I don't want Friends to be the first thing that's mentioned. I want his sobriety to be the first thing that's mentioned. I just find that conceptually bizarre, because the man made $152 million off of Friends. Most actors would be thrilled to have an iconic role that we showed the picture of the hot tub yesterday. It's overlooking the Hollywood Hills. It's gorgeous. Like, dude, I guess my point is, his death aside, these actors that hate their one famous role that gave them millions of dollars, access to everything they could possibly want in the world, and they're like, I don't want to be remembered for that. Fuck off. What am I going to be remembered for? This wig didn't make me 152 million. You know what I mean? It's like, calm the fuck down, Chandler. You're Chandler. Embrace the Chandlerness,
We always want what we don't have, though. Like, you have your sense of individualism. He's had his whole identity wrapped up in how he performed every day that may have nothing to do with who he is. And it's like, as human beings, we have this core need to be seen. And when you play a role, it's like, I'm not seen for me. Like, that's a role I played, but that doesn't fill the void that every human being carries.
I totally agree with you. The only thing that confuses me about this is if you choose to be an actor, you're choosing not to be seen as yourself. You're choosing to go into the public as somebody else. So I just think, like, at its core, it's an odd. I know that's what they want, and I'm not disagreeing with you. You're 100% right. I just think they're weird for choosing an occupation where you're pretending to be somebody else for a living. Right?
Yeah. No, I can see your point. Your point's pretty valid.
Well, listen, I don't wear eyeliner because I'm not a genius. Okay. We could do another story, but I really want to get into the Arica Angelo experience. So can we?
Well, this next story is kind of
okay.
long.
Let's do the next one.
We could talk about it because we can get a woman's perspective on the story, since this story is kind of about
what makes you think I'm a woman?
I have OnlyFans. No, I
don't. Okay, so it's about United Airlines, and they're allegedly having a specific look intended for their flight attendants. So there's this ongoing lawsuit filed by 2 female flight attendants saying they were denied positions for a charter flight for the Dodgers because the players apparently only liked women who had blonde hair and blue eyes. So I'm not really sure if this was the case. Both the Dodgers and United claim it has nothing to do with race. So they say they had an extensive job interview and they just deemed that they weren't a fit for the job. It's a hospitality job, so they have like very specific standards. I don't know if I could argue with that.
I am not going to sit here and listen to a story where they say young, rich, millionaire athletes want to look at pretty girls. I just can't believe it. I'm shocked to my core that this could possibly be a thing that young, hot, rich athletes would want to do, is stare at hot chicks while they fly. I mean, are you really? Come on, that's a bridge too far. Don't you think? Don't you think that's crazy?
We're far too woke for that. We have evolved way past that.
Oh, absolutely. You win a game, right? You just want to go, and whoever serves you a drink serves you a drink. You don't give a shit. You're not into eye candy as a young, rich, millionaire athlete.
No.
Here's the thing. These stewardesses, sky waitresses, I call them, they didn't fire them. They just didn't get to go on the Dodgers plane. Like, I get it. I get it. You're one of them's in their 50s. She's probably like, oh God, my time has passed me by. It has. You were young and hot once, and you stole the job of somebody who were 50. You know, like this is kind of the thing. I'm fortunate because every chick wants to stare at me, but that's not the case for everyone.
It's the wig. It's the wig.
And the slight eye makeup.
Yes. Why don't they just rent a private jet and do it? Are they poor? Why do they have to fly with
That's a good point. So I'm a
they have like a United partnership.
I happen to know that the Patriots are one of the few teams in major sports that have their own they have 2 planes that they fly, but most teams don't. They charter flights. Strange, right?
Hey, Dodgers, start making more money, or I'm going to stop wearing my LA hat in the south of France.
I think you should, because you know what you're doing is you're representing misogyny, and I'm not going to stand for it. Arica's complicit in this whole thing. I can't believe that you don't like old, unattractive sky waitresses. What the fuck is wrong with you? I thought you were a relationship.
Well, no, I'm tired of seeing women. I want to see guys in tight, tailored pants serving me. I'm like, okay, enough with women constantly serving me. I want some guys and they have to wear like open V-neck shirts with like just the right amount of cologne, and they all need like a love accent. And I want them to say, "Excusez-moi, would you like a champagne with that?" And then they turn around and their butts are just right there in my face. I'm like, why do we just have women serving us? Like, we're the hot straight guys at.
Okay, straight is that straight was the word, because I was going to say there's some guys. And listen, I don't want to get canceled, but I do know that certain demographics do certain things. You don't see a lot of straight hairdressers. You don't see a lot of straight interior designers. You don't see a lot of straight sky waiters. I'm with you, because I've said this on the show before. I got hit on a gay guy once, and it was the best 15 minutes of my life. He pretended I was hot. He pretended I was funny. He pretended to be into the things I was saying. So it was just like what you chicks experience all the time, but I never get to, because we're always the predators. To be the prey for 15 minutes, delightful. Yes, I'm with you. I'm going to go on a charter flight where it's all hot gay guys. It's going to be a hell of a time. All right. Talk about you now.
You guys don't have many stewards in America?
Skyway?
Not like hot, attractive ones. It's quite rare.
They're no America's Sweetheart Eric Ryans. They're like 6s, a 6.5. A Boston 6, an Atlanta 4.
What we're subjected to every day when we fly throughout America.
I know it's an outrage. Robin's never left the Philippines, so he doesn't know.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to start out with a triple question. So if you can answer this in order. What the fuck is wrong with guys? Isn't the best dating advice to be hot, smart, and funny? And is this the most fuckable show you've ever been on in terms of hosts? You can start with number 1. What the fuck is wrong with guys?
I don't think that men are near as masculine as they used to be. I don't think that I have been doing this for 15 years, and I'll never forget. I first started off just as a dating coach. And I found it appalling, sickening, frustrating, maddening when I would have men legitimately write me and say, when should I ask for a woman's phone number? When should I kiss her? And I'm like, when are we going to get to the real question? Is this a real question? And so men have become incredibly apologetic and not just simple masculine men. And I think that is the biggest mistake. And I hear from men all the time, it's the feminist movement, and they said we can't do this, and they said we can't do that. And I'm like, that's horseshit. That is an excuse that you are coming up with so that you don't have to put yourself out there and get rejected like men do.
Oh, I love you. This is so right, because here's the thing I value in men in terms of friendship are some of the things that I would imagine women like assertiveness, men who are opinionated, who like, I love arguing. Nobody will fucking argue with me, but like, we're not trying to fight, but just let's spar or something. And men are fucking cower. Yeah. And I would imagine if that pisses me off in a friendship, a cowering man who's afraid to say something must be maddening for a woman.
It's disgusting. It's repulsive. I mean, you go dry below. You're like, whoa, that did nothing for me there. And then women will walk off to their girlfriends and they'll say, I just didn't experience a connection with him. And what she's saying is there was no masculinity. There was nothing attractive about him that I experienced. And I think guys are like, the more agreeable they come, the more likely they are to get in a relationship, sleep with her. And it's like, no, she needs a man because we feel safe. We feel safe with a man who's strong, who knows what he believes in, who's assertive. We go, I can trust you. But when he doesn't do that, then I have to be the penis. Then I have to be the leader. I have to go out and execute. And that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want to feel safe and that I can trust you. And when men withhold their masculinity, they're essentially withholding the one thing that she's looking for, which is that safety, ability to be able to trust him.
It's beautiful.
So how do you react when a guy's like, oh, but I want to be more in touch with my feminine side? How do you react to that?
So here's the thing, and I'm going to come down real fucking hard on this, and thank God I can talk just straight up with you guys. Because here's the thing, what people have said about masculinity, that men for so long have been told, you can't cry, you can't have emotions, you don't show vulnerability. Fuck off. That's such bullshit. And that does not mean that a man is totally feminine if he does those things. I had one client, he said he showed no emotions whatsoever. He's about to go through a divorce. And he said, well, Arica, I was brought up with that whole saying of there's no crying in baseball. I said, if I throw a fast pitch at 94 miles per hour at your ball sack, I promise you are going to cry in baseball. And so it's such horse shit of like, I think that we're finally waking up. I think back in the days, our fathers were from this Victorian era. We were from era, and we're like inundated with these like, men don't cry, men don't do this. It's horseshit. You're castrating yourself from your heart. Men do have emotions, and I love that we're finally talking about mental health, but don't throw the fucking baby out with the bathwater. Yes, you can still have emotions. Yes, you can still be vulnerable. Yes, you can talk about what's going on inside of you, but still be a fucking man. Still own your decisions. Still be assertive. Still put your fucking foot down, but it doesn't mean that you're not a man because you have fucking emotions. It's so stupid how we go through these massive polarities. It's like, oh, well, now men are getting in touch with their emotions, and so they're feminine and they're pussies. No, they're waking up to the fact that they're a fucking human being who have a heart and who have feelings, and they're finally verbalizing that. Yay, but don't quit being a fucking man in the process.
No, I love you. You're the best.
That question really got you going.
It's like this Walt Whitman quote. It's about somebody accused him of being a hypocrite. He goes, so what? I contradict myself. I'm large. I contain multitudes. I think men should be large, and you can be masculine, and you can cry when the Patriots lose, right? That's a bad example. But you should be this big thing. And I think marketing is this other thing that drives me nuts, because here, I'm going to tie it together. In marketing, we go after personas, right? So us as marketers, we're like, who's going to buy our stuff? How do we appeal to them? Let's get in our head. And what you're doing is creating someone who doesn't exist and then talking to them in a way that's through a corporate filter. And that's why marketing is trash. My point always has been that the hot chick doesn't pretend to like Dungeons and Dragons to fuck the nerds. The hot chick and the jock are who they are, and we're attracted to that because they're the bright, shiny thing. Be the bright, shiny thing. What men are trying to do is reverse engineer what we think you want, and then through that process, neuter ourselves. And it's once you start placating the prey wants no part of you. I know, but I totally agree. Men are pussies. What happened? But here's the other thing. The men that would be subjected to society's whims and change are pretty soft to begin with.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. And I tell them, I'm like, you guys are not thinking for yourself. And the minute, especially on my YouTube channel, I get hammered on YouTube. I mean, everyone's getting hammered today. There's no one that says none of us can feel sorry for ourselves if we're putting ourselves out there. And so everyone's getting hammered. You could be Jesus Christ, you could be Mohammed, whatever you believe in, and you would still get hammered now because everyone's got an opinion, which is great. I love people using their voice. But yes, I think that, it's like men, I'm like, the fact that you're coming up with these questions that, listen, what is inside of you? What is it that, like, I can't tell you how many guys say they'll see a woman and they're like, she's the most beautiful thing. Did you go talk to her? No, I didn't say anything.
Right.
Why would you do that? I'm like, you are betraying yourself. And listen, you can never ask someone else to love and accept you as long as you continue to betray yourself. And by men just acquiescing to what they think women want is self-betrayal at its purest form.
Right. And here's the thing too, like, let's say you change your personality to land a chick. How long can you keep up that charade? How long can you keep up that act? You know,
you can't. It's the same for women. Women do the same thing. I think women, I had one woman, she said, you don't show them your shit until you get married and then you show them. And I'm like, okay. And then now you're in a shitty marriage for the rest of your life. For what? When you could have positioned yourself to be in a happy marriage, having lots of sex, making beautiful children, seeing the world, having a companion there. But you've just set yourself up for a toxic relationship. Women have been doing the same thing. Men are just now doing it as well.
Do you think it's a modern man problem? Do you think it's been a societal push towards anti-toxic masculinity and the whole thing about Robin with the whole, we got to be in touch with the feminine side? Or do you think men have always been like this and we have the internet now, we can talk about it?
I think that what made men was challenge, was hardship. And now men are sitting behind computer screens. There's no challenge in life. There's nothing. There's a great guy, and this doesn't come from me. It comes from a dear friend of mine named Zan Perion. Men used to be challenged. Like, this is your point of you entering manhood. And it was always this feat, this conquest that they had to achieve. We don't have that anymore. And so there's a lot of confusion of there's no defining factor of what makes a man today. Which the reality is, and this doesn't come from me either, this comes from Sadia Khan, where she says, what makes a man a real man now is the amount of responsibility that he has. But for single guys, there's no benchmark. The only benchmark that men have is make more money, buy a bigger car, but buy shit. And be that weak person that's constantly marketed to of, you need my shit to make you a great person. And it's like, that's the benchmark of masculinity. There's no other benchmark to really say, this is what makes you man. And when we don't have a goal, when we don't have a vision, we become sheep. And so men, because they don't have that goal, they don't have that vision, they just become sheep. They just become followers. They just become weak.
Right. So I get my hair cut every week at a hair salon because I like spending time with the ladies. And I was doing what I do. I was like, trying to be funny last Thursday. And one of the chicks was like, man, if just to have your like entitled sense of confidence. I go, I know you like talking shit about me, but people should have confidence. I think throwing narcissism, that's the baby out with the bathwater. This occurred to me early on because I did some stand up and I was like worried I was going to bomb. But like if a joke didn't go over from that point, organically, I was mad at the audience. I was like, you're too dumb to understand that. It couldn't possibly be that I'm not funny. It's that it's you. And that's the way I feel about chicks. Like, if you're not into me, I'm judging your taste. And I think that's a healthier way to be, as opposed to being like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Why am I internalizing your thoughts? Fuck you. You know what I mean?
I had this course. It's not even on my website anymore. I think it's called like Create and Keep Great Conversation on the Date. And the thing I said in the course is this. I said, listen, men are going on dates and they're going an ass backwards going like, okay, what do I need to do to impress her? Bullshit. You need to be on your A game. You need to be listening to everything she says. You need to be watching what she does to make sure that she is worthy of you, that she is a candidate that you would consider mothering your children. You need to be paying attention to that. If you're so consumed with just impressing her and getting her to like you, you have set yourself up for failure, man. You are just as much the prize as she is. It's both. You want two prizes coming together. That is what you want.
Yeah. And I certainly think that women have it harder in life in general, but men do that thing where we're so desperate to impress you that we act like morons. We're not ourselves. We change our personality, and it's never going to work that way. It never is going to work.
I've been guilty of that way too many times because I'm in my 20s as well. So
yeah, you've got some time. You're gonna learn.
We put on so many facades as well, like women who go on dates and they only eat salads, or like, or now like women, like when I used to go to the clubs in my 20s, it was just like, whoa, and shaking your ass. And now it's like, now there's this cool girl dance where women are just like, yeah. And it's like more sexy. Whereas and it's like we still all have these like unspoken rules that we're playing to impress you, to show you that we're a lady, that we're not a pig, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, it's such a wrong premise to find love. Showing a facade of who you are will never get you to finally be seen, accepted, and loved, and someone to actually want to choose you.
Yeah. Here's the problem though. Okay. So they're acting as if, right, in order to get laid. So is as a relationship coach, can you get them to who they are? And what if they suck? You know, like, are some people just if you're acting as if you're kind of shallow. So we break that down, go stop doing that. Now, can we build you up to someone that's reasonable and fuckable? Like, is there hope for people that have been led astray in this way?
I don't think that I honestly believe this, and it's not because of my work. It's just I inherently believe this about every human being. I believe every human being has gold inside of them. Like, how many times do you walk down the street and you see a couple and you're like, wow, there really is someone for everyone. You know, it's not like any person is just so unlovable and so broken that they can't be loved. I just don't buy into it. I think that if you have a desire inside of you to be in a loving relationship, there is an answer there. You just have to do what you need to do to get yourself in order to be able to receive it. It's a Rumi quote. It says, it's not your job to seek love. It's your job to remove every barrier. And so maybe that barrier is you have trauma. Maybe that barrier is you have social awkwardness. Maybe that barrier is you're on the spectrum and you don't know how to carry conversation with people and relate to people. Find what your barrier is and fucking get to work.
Social awkwardness, I think, is more pervasive than anything on the planet. So now that, again, let's go back to soccer. Now they have to deal with these other soccer dads. Talking to these motherfuckers is the worst. They don't read anything. They don't have opinions about anything. Most like I'm into sports, right? Like, but they don't even fucking talk about sports. Like base level man shit. They have nothing to say. And then so tied into that, my wife is part of a book club. So last book club was at my house. So I came down, I was talking to the chicks. I was like, oh, so you guys do book club. Do your husbands do anything? Like, no. I was like, well, I was thinking about starting like a bourbon club just to meet the guys in the neighborhood because we're relatively new.
Love that.
Anecdotally, the chick was like, oh, my husband would love that. Oh, does he drink bourbon? She goes, no, he doesn't drink. I'm like, I'm out. I can't fucking. I'm not saying you have to drink to have a good time, but you have to drink to have a good time. So like men who don't drink, who don't watch sports, who don't read books, who have none of these opinions, who are socially awkward. Oh my God, is there hope? I'm going to apologize on behalf of men. Arica, I'm so sorry for what happened to us. I don't think I'm responsible for it, but God damn it, they're on my team. Oh, they suck.
Okay. So I actually have an example of this kind of close to home. He's a close friend of mine. He just became 30 and he's still a virgin, so he's reached the wizard status. He's very socially awkward. There you go. So he's very socially awkward. He's had like several bad experiences with women, and the one thing he can do to have fun, he can't do because he's allergic to alcohol.
Has he tried cocaine? No one's allergic to cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
Would you like a line? No, I'm so sorry, I'm allergic. There's nobody.
Would there be like some steps that he could take, or like would there be someone that he could actually find?
Well, I'm going to say this, and I don't know if this is for your friend, but one thing that I'm seeing, and I just want to say that I'm not licensed in this, is just something in my observations that I continue to see. I am starting, and I'm not saying that your friend is, but I'm starting to see more and more and more that so many men are on the spectrum and they haven't been diagnosed. And a lot of that social awkwardness is because they're on the spectrum. And I love, there are dating coaches that are starting to specialize in this, because what happens when people are on the spectrum is they can't read those cues. They don't know like when to interject conversationally. And so even people on the spectrum, like some of them need excessive. I had a friend who had a child, and their child needed to drink to be able to talk to people. And I said, why don't you just get this kid tested? I said, your child is on the spectrum. Can you guys not see that he's on the spectrum? Get him tested. And so I think I would venture to say that your friend may be borderline on the spectrum. I don't know why. It's just a sense that I get. And it's like, I think that needs to get solved first. And then it's back to what I said earlier, once you understand what your barriers, then you can get to work. And it's like, instead of like him looking for some other dependent, find out what it is that's creating the social awkwardness and go to that, because there's always going to be another scenario where he's going to feel trapped. I mean, he's doing this just with talking. What's going to happen when it's time for them to have sex? That's not going to go away. It's going to continue. So get to the root of the problem. Where is that social awkwardness coming from? You know, some people, they're on the spectrum. Sometimes people have been so rejected and battered in their childhood, which is a lot of what I do for my clients, is doing that inner work, that inner healing. But find out where your barrier is and go there, because otherwise you're just constantly putting a Band-Aid on the problem. And guess what? When you get married, when you have children, when you have adult problems, that shit is not going away. So solve it now, especially singles. Like singles, I'm always like, you're so fucking lucky. You're in the best place to work through your shit. Because when you're in a marriage, when you have children, it's very difficult to start doing self-reflection and personal development, because you've got so many other plates spinning. But I would really, before I just give him just some nonchalant bullshit advice that most dating coaches will give, I would say, just go to the fucking problem. Why is it that you feel socially awkward? Do you feel rejected? Are you on the spectrum? What is it? And go deal with that. But I have a sneaky suspicion that he's on the spectrum.
We're going to have you back with this kid, and you can diagnose him. Wouldn't that be fun?
I'm not a doctor in this. I cannot diagnose. It's just...
I'm a freelance psychologist. I'm a freelance gynecologist, as a matter of fact. I'll take a look. I'll take a look.
That's the problem. He's not a kid anymore. He's a 30-year-old grown man.
Well, listen, you can't win them all. Let me ask you this, though. So kind of on the same vein.
No, you cannot perform gynecology on me. Absolutely not.
I'm not going to, just a quick exam. Just a quick 45 to an hour long exam. I want to get to the root of the problem, whatever it may be. So I said in the green room, I've been with my wife for 23 years. So I missed, we didn't fucking have cell phones. So online dating, has online dating made it harder to date or easier to date? I've never had the pleasure, but I would imagine window shopping for available Vaguba was easier than what I had to do, which is call someone's house and ask if their daughter was home. Right. I think I had it hard. I had to go to a bar and send somebody a shot and put a roofie in it. Like there was a lot of fucking things I had to do. It seems like online dating is.
This is the beauty of what I get to bring, because I've been doing this for so damn long.
Yeah.
Human beings, we will look for anything to place the blame of our own shortcomings and our failings. Oh, and everyone is on this shtick of, oh, it's social media and it's dating apps. And no, we just become more and more less responsible for ourselves.
Yeah.
Tell you why, because when I got started 15 years ago, back in 2008, when I got started back then, guess what everybody was bitching about to me as a dating coach? It's so hard because I just can't meet anybody. There's nobody in my neighborhood. I live in a town of 30,000 people and I see all the same people and I just don't meet anybody. And now what's a problem? There's just so many people and people are they just want to have sex and no one wants real. It's like, it's constant placing responsibility as opposed to going, And where are you the agent of change in your own life? Please tell me where you take personal responsibility for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
I just feel like everyone's having the same conversation. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have the same conversation that everyone's having. Let's get to the root of the problem. People are becoming less and less and less more responsible. Everything is about entitlement. It's about you've offended me and this person did me wrong. Okay, life's tough, bro. Get a fucking helmet and keep going.
That's the thing. When men bitch about this, I go, that's the issue. You're a guy bitching about the situation. The rules of the game are not going to change. You can't affect those. You're not going to shut down Bumble. And even if you did, you wouldn't get laid. So fucking win it with the rules that you have.
Yes, yes. And get really good at those. I see so many guys who I'm just like, wow, that guy is crazy unattractive. He's not rich. And look at the girl that he got. And that guy's typically, he's super funny. He's super confident. He's got something that he's passionate about. And he lands a beautiful girl. And it's like, don't give me this bullshit that it's money and I'm not 6'3" and oh, fuck off. Like find out what you bring to the table, polish that shit and get out there and market the hell out of it.
Yeah, plenty of strengths. Luckily, I have every strength. I'm rich and funny and fucking gorgeous. But not everyone's me. But I'm saying you got to fucking hone in on the thing.
Some guys just have it all,
Some guys have it all in a wig and eyeliner. So, I mean, I'm untouchable, but I'm locked up. I do think, and maybe this is because I'm wildly naive, I think I'd slay out there because I think I have opinions and I talk about things. And
because you're a unicorn now. That's why.
Unicorn. That's right.
You're a unicorn. You're showing up as yourself and you don't give a shit. You're unapologetic and that's raw and that's refreshing. And women don't see that anymore.
You know what annoys me too? People always say, you don't have a filter. I go, no, I have a filter. When my filter like tings, I go, I have to say that thing because that's going to get a rise out of you. And then we're going to have some sort of organic interaction. It might be bad, but it's going to be funny one way or another, or you're going to get offended. It's going to twist the structure of the average conversation. Yes. And that's what we should be aiming to do as opposed to how was your commute? How about this weather? Oh, your job. Tell me about your job. No one gives a fuck. Stop doing it.
Exactly.
So, man, we only have 4 minutes. Can we do this for another 4 hours? Because we still have the gynecological exam that I have to do. So are you're a TV host, which is fucking wild. I watched an episode last night. I do want to talk about the hot Indian chick, but I guess we don't have time. How did you get I want to host a show on Bravo. How'd you do that?
You start a YouTube channel and then the offers just pour in.
What?
Yes, I'm not joking you. Since 2012, I have gotten one offer after the next for a television show. Before I had a contract signed with Bravo and the production company, I was signed with Entertainment, and they're the ones who got the Kardashians out there. So I had a contract with them. I think it's in every single one. I never went out. I never pimped myself out and said, hey, someone give me a show. They all came to me and they all came to me through my YouTube channel.
Wow. Do you think it helps that you're hot and funny and smart? Because if that, I think then me and Robin have a real shot at this.
Of course it helps. I look good on camera. I'm well presented, all those things, but I know my shit as well. You
do know your shit. You too are a unicorn. I was going to say this. Oh, do people come to you for when you're a relationship expert, but like you don't have ostensibly you don't have any flaws. So are people annoyed? They're like, how dare you give me advice? It's like Tom Brady trying to teach a 3-year-old how to throw a football. It's like you fucking Tom Brady.
It's different. If you watch my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about my flaws and I talk about my own trauma and my own shit. I just did a whole episode that's about to come out about where I open up about my secret demon that I never told anybody about, which was that I had a real issue with rage and anger. And when I would start drinking too much, my friends would be like, holy shit, you're terrifying when you're angry. And so I share the story about how I found this therapist in Bali who helped me with my nervous system. I've tried every form of therapy. And so, no, I share my shit with my audience because I always say this about what we really need to have connection relationship is vulnerability. And so the challenge with vulnerability is someone always has to go first. And so what I like to do with my audience and especially with my clients is I'm going to go first. I'm going to share my shit because I know when I share my shit, you're going to feel less judged. You're going to feel safe, and you're far more likely to open up and tell me what's really going on so that we can get you solutions.
You know, it'd be the problem though if I came to you and my fetish was hot, angry chicks. The tables have been turned.
And I'd be like, and please tell me what was your relationship like with your mother? How did she show you love? And then
she would get drunk, really spank me, and now I have this weird fetish. I don't know what it is. Can I just say I did watch your video on how to seduce your wife again? So you said flowers, send her text messages, and then go down on her, but don't expect anything else. So I picked a couple dandelions this morning, and I've sent my wife 3 dick pics. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
There you go.
But with women, the main point of that, and you're a married guy, so you'll get this. But sometimes a lot of single guys watch this. But as a married guy, it's that the consistent connection. It's like he's thinking about me, he loves me, he values me. That gets her wet than anything else. Like more than your techniques of what you can do for her in bed, it's that consistency of showing up in her life. I gave that advice to a guy who's very famous. He's going through a divorce, Mauricio, on The Housewives. And I remember seeing him at a restaurant, and I said, if you were more consistent with your wife, you guys would have a better marriage. I doubt that he put that to work, and now they're going through a divorce.
Now, see, that always happens. This is my mother, by the way. Yes, we had a very, listen, I'm fine. I really do think I'm perfect. I've asked, we'll talk about that later.
Your mother watches your show. She must be a special woman.
Sometimes I wish she wouldn't, but yeah, she does. She quite often chimes in too. Man,
you're lucky. She's great.
Oh, she's good. Oh,
you have piojos, mijo. Piojos.
What does that mean?
Head lice.
Oh, is that what this is? Oh, it's very itchy. Poor Prince, man. Okay, listen, we killed an hour. You were the best. I really think you should come back because I have a lot more shit talk about men, and I can do that because they're on our team, particularly white men. I think we're the worst.
But I love men. I just want to say that I really do love men, and I believe they have what it takes. I just think they have to pull their heads out of their asses
and hire you. So, shit, I should probably do this, right? I know I got lost in the. Well, I'm sure we have like another minute somewhere, but let me pull up your thing here. If people want to be less
pull up my thing, easy there, man.
I told you I have your OnlyFans. So. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. So if you want to be less of a bitch, if you're thinking there, you're like, I am a bitch. I'd like to be less of a bitch, and I want to get laid. This is the place you go to, right? We can hire you. We can hire you, and we'll be manly men who get laid. Is that true?
You will be manly men who are loved very well, and sex will be lots of it. A plethora.
Sex will be a byproduct of being less of a bitch, right? Yes. Oh, my mother loved you. Fabulous guest. She's a tough critic too, because she tells me when she doesn't like the guests. So just so you know, she does.
Mama Clark, I appreciate you.
Thanks, Mom. Okay, we're gonna log off, but do me a favor, Arica, stay in the green room so we can chat about our audience afterwards. Yes. We will be back probably tomorrow. I don't know. Rodney's not here. We'll see. It's a fluid situation. We'll definitely be here on Thursday, though. Goodbye, America.